FinTech, short for financial technology, is literally changing the world. It is revolutionizing global economies, trade, and even the day-to-day lives of people like you and me. You might already be a part of this multi-billion-dollar industry without even knowing it. So in this episode, we look into why FinTech is more important than just a buzzword, and why you should care about it. Let's start. Technology, generally speaking, has impacted many aspects of our daily lives and has created completely new industries altogether. But the impact of technology on finance is perhaps the most interesting, since it is challenging and involving a long-standing, almost traditional business of banks and lending companies. A fintech company is essentially any business that uses technology to modify, enhance, or automate services for businesses and consumers. Transferring money from your phone, investing online in stocks, or simply checking your bank statement online. These are all examples of how you might already be using this technology. The market size of this industry was valued at $110 billion in 2020 and is projected to reach almost $700 billion by the end of 2030. While there are many applications of fintech, digital payments will be the biggest in terms of transactions and market share. And while the developed world has been the early adopter of this technology, developing countries, especially the likes of Indonesia, India, and African nations, are set to form the next growth for fintech. India's UPI, the technology the country created to enable payments via mobile phones, has already crossed $100 billion in transaction and is set to be adopted by other countries like Singapore. I made a separate video about UPI which goes in depth about how it works and what it is, which is linked in the description. Apart from digital payments, there are many other businesses that have adopted fintech as the baseline technology. Examples would be digital investment platforms like Robinhood, neobanks like Revolut, and blockchain technology companies. Users are adopting this technology at the same pace as well, with 1 in 3 people across 20 major economies using 2 or more fintech apps for their banking needs. And it's not only the young, tech-savvy customers that are adopting. The trend has slowly trickled into the older generation who are much more used to physical branches for banking needs. For example, nearly 9 in 10 Americans now use some kind of fintech app to manage their financial lives. While 95% of these are millennials, baby boomers were by far the fastest growing segment for fintech customers. This tremendous growth in user adoption is a big reason why not only the existing giants like Apple, Google have launched their own fintech products, but also a whole bunch of startups have emerged leading the innovation path for this industry. Fintech companies like Stripe, Klarna are some of the most valuable startups in the world today. Fintech has almost filled the void for roughly 1.5 billion people who do not have access to traditional banks. So if all is going well, is the world going to be cashless soon? Are we ready to dethrone cash as the king and rely solely on digital transactions and banking? While cash might not be the king anymore in some countries, it is still very important from an economic perspective, especially when fintech has its own set of challenges. Data privacy is a big one. As more and more people adopt this technology, their financial data poses a risk to cyber attacks. Trust in financial system and small fintech companies is also an important factor for adoption of users. Even if we keep cyber attacks to a side, just a simple outage in apps can lead to millions of people without access to their financial information. Regulation is also a big concern. While fintech has grown at a tremendous pace, regulation and financial laws are yet to catch up to this changing world. While there are many safeguards in place for users in case a traditional bank goes bankrupt, there is no such strong law for fintech providers. For example, every bank has to maintain a certain amount of cash reserve for a time of crisis. But for a neobank, used to get small loans by users, there are no such laws protecting the business or the end user. But despite these challenges, the fintech space is a big business opportunity and is set to make money accessible for everyone across the globe. And it would be interesting to see if regulations can actually keep up with the industry growth. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, do drop in a like and subscribe to show your support for the channel. Thank you for watching.